Hello my friends and welcome back. It is Monday my dudes, new week, new day, new wonderful opportunity for you and me. A new day in this war of United States and Iran. We begin with scenes from Tehran, the capital of Iran. And this footage is nothing else than shock and awe. Said it many times, but the Iranians are in shock. And you and me, we are in awe. This is the capital in flames. Everything that has any connection to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps is being bombarded to pulp, bombarded back to the Stone Age. And in this video, we'll go through all of the footage, all of the new information that has come out throughout the weekend. For example, in this video, you can see the capital during daylight. This is not night, this is the day. So much smoke that it has blackened the sun. I always remember 300 Spartans, the movie, right? The Persian king Xerxes, which is Persia, Iran, kind of the same area, only 3,000 years in apart. He said to Leonidas, our arrows will blacken the sun. Well, in this case, it's the United States missiles that produce so much smoke on the ground that they blacken the sun. And this is broad daylight. Would Xerxes 3,000, 4,000, whatever thousand years ago have imagined that their own sky would be blackened, their own sun would be blackened, but not by arrows, but by Tomahawk missiles? I mean, if you look at it, this day, broad daylight, how is this possible? Another instance of the carnage. Close to Tehran, the capital, there is Shahran oil depot. It was bombarded by Israel Saturday, so it was 2 days ago, one and a half, well, the day before yesterday. It leaked semi-refined or refined oil products, gasoline or petroleum. It leaked it into the storm pipes of Tehran, the water pipes. And now it ignites. Look at that. Have you seen anything like it? The streets ignite because there's leaked petroleum in drainage pipes. This is carnage. Shock and awe, as I said. Saturday, Israeli Air Force made one of their largest strikes against Iran, and this time it included also oil facilities and airports and aerial assets. Let's look what exactly was destroyed. Satellite images show 17 aircraft damaged at Tehran's Mehrabad airport in Israel's Saturday's strike. Some completely destroyed. The Israeli army said that it destroyed 16 Revolutionary Guards Corps planes that they claimed were transferring weapons to Hezbollah. But look at them. Most of these planes are dead. They are just parked here as empty shells, and Iran parked working planes in between them to hide them. But it didn't work out because Israel knew exactly what to strike, and as you can see, the planes that they needed to take up have been taken out in pinpoint accuracy. I'm not sure I've seen so many destroyed aircraft in one location. Even in Ukrainian war, this hasn't really happened. Only Operation Spiderweb comes close with there were tens of destroyed planes in single locations. But also, what makes me a little bit of nostalgic is that Israel finally confirmed that they have taken out all of the Iranian F-14 TOMCATS. F-14 TOMCAT, legendary United States produced aircraft. It was from the Shah era of Iran, pre-Islamic Revolution. So I don't know how they kept them flying. They should be in museum. They are old as hell. They are older than you probably. And now Israel finally took them out. They were stationed in the 8th Air Base in Isfahan, and they were destroyed on the Saturday strikes, day before yesterday, those strikes. So their deployment ends. Iran was the last country to field working F-14 TOMCATs active in their air force. No more. Now you can only see them in the museum. Another instance of how this war has escalated is that United States targeted the desalination plant. It was on the Qeshm Island, southern Iran. See, Iran and most of the Gulf countries, they don't have fresh water sources. Majority of them use desalination plant, and they just take the sea or ocean water from the Gulf and they take the salt out of it with desalination plants. It's a quite large and expensive process, and you need these massive plants or factories, and they're all over the place. Local population, they rely on them for fresh drinking water. Well, the United States struck one of them, and then Iranians struck back, striking the desalination plant in Bahrain Island. As the result, Bahrain residents now don't have fresh drinking water and has to be imported. So this is the expansion of this war into more like what Russia is doing to target civilian assets. But the main goal of the United States and Israel remains the enriched uranium. Iran wants a nuclear weapon. They have always wanted a nuclear weapon, and by now they have dangerous amounts of enriched uranium. About 441 kilograms of near weapons grade uranium. Enough for roughly 11 nuclear bombs. It may have been moved and hasn't been verified by inspectors for months. If its location is confirmed, US and Israeli ground forces could attempt to capture or neutralize it. The thing is, US and Israel, they're bombarding everything connected to Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps to Stone Age. What they cannot do is destroy that specific uranium because they don't know where it is. Until that uranium exists, whoever comes after Ayatollah Khamenei or whoever is elected now there can take that same uranium and continue the weapons production, nuclear weapons production, continue that process. So unless they take away that enriched uranium from Iran, the threat remains. So if they locate it, there's a real possibility of special forces being sent in to take it, literally take it out of the country. Or destroy it, but I mean, how are you gonna destroy enriched uranium? Possibly they're just gonna take it, secure the asset. By the way, there's one huge question mark, the elephant in the room in this whole epic fury operation, and that is a specific island, Kharg Island. It's a small rocky island 25 kilometers off Iran's southern coast. It handles roughly 2 million barrels of oil per day. 90% of Iran's crude oil exports flow through its loading jetties. So, it is an island, it's basically a rocky, small patch of land that is filled to the brink with oil depots, export terminals. Almost all of Iranian oil goes out to the world through this island. United States and Israel has not struck it. You know why? Because Donald Trump does not want high oil prices in the world. They don't want to take Iranian oil off the world's markets because that would spike the oil prices. But you know what? This has happened. Today's Monday. We're seeing insane oil prices right now. They could go over 100 per barrel. They could go over 150 per barrel. They're definitely not going to remain the same. So Trump did not strike this island to keep the oil prices steady. But the oil prices are already insane. We're going to talk about it later. So now the question remains, are Israel and the United States going to strike this Iranian export hub where entirety of Iranian oil goes out into the world? We haven't seen it yet. We might see it. By the way, if you are a member of Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, then it's not a good day for you. All of them, we're talking thousands of personnel, received this specific text from a hidden number. And it said, "You are completely under our surveillance. We know the crimes that you committed against the Iranian people. We have identified you and all your associates. Surrender or flee. There will be no second warning." All of them got this text. It remains to see what thousands of Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps members will do now. We know what one of Iranian ship did, and this already happened on March 4th, so it was half a week ago. It was on the same day when the United States submarine sunk the Iranian ship Iris Dena. Another ship got a wind of that. They heard that this happened, and they asked for a refuge from India. India allowed Iranian amphibious vessel Lavan to dock at Kochi on March 4th after an urgent request from Tehran. The same day, US submarine sank Iranian frigate Dena off Sri Lanka, killing at least 87. So yeah, the Iranians heard about that and immediately decided not to face off the United States Navy. They're seeking refuge in Indian ports, and they were granted refuge. My friends, I could not do these videos without loyal supporters and members on Buy Me a Coffee. We have 2 new members since the last video. Let's make it 3 for next time, and I'll be butchering some names to oblivion. This time, it's Rian Lavrenke Tchedavk. Rian Lavrenke Tchedavk. Your name has never and will never be said this way again. And we have Floyd Flinthammer USA. Floyd Flinthammer USA. Thank you for joining up. If you like my channel, if you like this style, then join up on Buy Me a Coffee monthly membership. In a moment, we'll take a look at the commodity prices of the world, especially oil and gas prices, because they have spiked. None the least that Trump has not struck the Iranian oil export island of Kharg. Still, the oil prices of the world have jumped. But let's take a look at how Iran has struck back of targets in the Middle East. They are deliberately focusing on oil facilities of the Middle Eastern countries to trigger exactly high oil prices in the world, because they know this forces Trump's hand to stop this war as soon as possible, because the United States is, as we all know, very, very vulnerable to extremely high oil prices. And they benefit Russia big time. A kamikaze drone attack was carried out by Iranians on oil tanks located on the territory of the Bahrain oil company. Iran is striking these oil tanks United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, because they spike oil prices of the world, which is their goal. And yeah, that's the fire that happened. You can see these towers and chimneys, and it's a massive oil facility. Unfortunately, Iranians have ability to send out shaheds still, and they can spike the oil prices of the world. Another target that comes to us from Chinese military satellites, the photos were released. Chinese satellite images reveal extensive damage to Al Kharfa air base in the United Arab Emirates after missile and drone strikes. U.A.E. Air Force stations in this base, and this is the damage, you can see it right here. But what about the damage and targets straight connected to the United States? United States assets in the Middle East, especially air defense batteries, air defense systems, THAAD, THAAD, one of the most expensive air defense systems in the world, and in general more expensive than the Patriot. Well, they have been struck, they have been hit, and some of them have been destroyed in the Middle East. This is a big, big blow, unfortunately, to the United States, because they are not produced on mass scale. Only 8 batteries exists for the United States. How is Iran able to strike such expensive air defense batteries when they don't have military satellites? How do they know where these batteries are? Well, they're not alone. Russia and China are helping Iran carry out precise strikes on United States and Israeli air defense systems and radars. Without them, Iran, having no satellites of its own, would never have been able to conduct such accurate strikes. The image shows a radar system of an American THAAD missile battery in Jordan that was destroyed by Iran. This system costs around $500 million. These radars are critically important for intercepting ballistic missiles. The United States operates 8 THAAD batteries. The United Arab Emirates has 2 and Saudi Arabia has 1. So you can see how limited in quantity these systems are in the entire world. And now one of them at least confirmed destroyed on this photo. Iran has also struck at least 7 American satellite communication facilities. And this is done thanks to Russia and China sharing intelligence to Iran. I was saying this 3 years ago already. This is not a Russo-Ukrainian war. It's a massive global war of West versus the East. I would say West versus the global South. China, Iran, North Korea, Syria, Russia versus everybody else, us. It has been like that. And now Iran is destroying American, very expensive radar and air defense systems thanks to China and Russia. Here are photos of 4 different locations where United States air defense systems have been struck by Iranian drones and missiles. All of them have been hit. So it is only possible thanks to China and Russia. I would love to see Donald Trump take this thing into his hands personally to punish China and Russia for its because they actually released sanctions from Russia. Trump released oil sanctions. He wants to keep the oil prices steady, so he wants to increase the oil production of the world, and Russia is one means to do that. So unfortunately, they did the opposite. Now I bring you a message from Zelensky because United States has requested help from Ukraine in intercepting Shahed drones. Of course, the US can intercept Shahed drones, and they do that, but it's so expensive. Ukrainians have incredibly cheap means of doing that, since they have been doing nothing but that for the last 4 years. Here's what Zelensky said. We have received some messages regarding how to help civilians in the Middle East and how to help American soldiers deployed in certain countries. We responded. We will send experts and provide everything needed to protect them. Many issues are being discussed in this dialogue. If we're talking about increasing capabilities, we would very much like this to be beneficial for both sides. We discussed this track. As of now, it is too early to speak in detail. Next week, when the experts are on the ground, assess the situation and provide assistance, since they are coming with the capabilities to assist right away. So yeah, they go there to watch what's going on, but they take their interceptor drones right with them. So as soon as they're on the ground, they can release these interceptors to take out Shaheds. So Ukrainians have got the call and they are helping. In Lord of the Rings, Gondor calls for aid and Rohan will answer, if you remember. It just came to my head like that. And just to give you the statistics of how much Shaheds Iran is actually shooting out, well, the numbers are dropping heavily. Well, the orange line here represents Iranian shooting up ballistics and drones, and as you can see, by day 6, it has dropped to below 50, and they started with 500 per day. So yeah, they pretty much are not able to shoot out drones and missiles on mass scale, but they still can do in the digits of 10s and 20s. Alright, let's talk about the global commodity prices, mainly oil and gas. Donald Trump does quite a lot to keep the oil shock away from the global markets. They are not striking Iranian oil facilities directly. Well, Israel is, but the United States is not. Israel did it in Saturday, and oil prices, oil markets are in shock. Shock prices. Right now it's Monday. By the time I'm making it, I yet don't have information on oil prices. By the time you are watching it, you know exactly what the oil prices of Brent and Urals is. You can see if I'm wrong or right here. It feels like oil prices are moving above 100 per barrel, 150 perhaps. Who knows? You can let me know in the comments. Anyway, it's rising 25-30% in the weekend, which is a massive shock. And to keep that shock from expanding even further, US eases sanctions on Russian oil sales to India during Iran conflict, because that will increase the oil supply of the world, therefore bringing the prices a little bit down. Well, not much. This means India can now again buy Russian seaborne crude for 30 days, which brings in a lot more money for Russia, unfortunately. Russia is estimated to make 10 to 15 additional billion monthly due to increasing oil and gas prices around the world due to the war with the US and Iran. So yeah, unfortunately, in the short term, this war and the rising oil prices, they are making more money. It makes it more easier for their economy. Just to illustrate how massive this oil shock to the world is, we have here 6 different oil shocks from the past. Strait of Hormuz closure happening right now. It took away about 20 million barrels per day of production from the world's scale, because not only Iran but many Middle Eastern countries have stopped or reduced oil production because they cannot export it because the Strait of Hormuz is closed. So yeah, that's the biggest one. Iranian Revolution 1978, that took away only 5.5 million barrels per day. Then we have Yom Kippur War, Iraq-Kuwait War, Russia-Ukrainian War. So we can see that the oil shock of the world right now, right now, it's top 1. It's really bad. Unfortunately, Russia's gonna win big time from it if it lasts longer. A few weeks of extra revenue for them. Yeah, okay, but if it lasts for months, they will make big money. Here you can see Middle Eastern conflict affecting commodity prices. We have shipping, agriculture, fertilizer, chemical feedstock, oil, everything is going up. It affects everything, especially insurance of seaborne transportation through Middle East. Just to illustrate again, if Iranian airspace is closed, which it is, I mean Ukrainian airspace is also closed, and EU planes will not fly over Russia and United States also. So if EU wants to fly to Asia, look how tiny gap they have for that, because everything is closed. They can go through Saudi Arabia, of course, but the round is quite big, the extra miles they're flying, so yeah. And now finally, my friends, we get to the Russo-Ukrainian war. But as you know, in my eyes, this has been one war for the last 4 years. It has not been 3, 4, 5 tiny wars of Russia-Ukraine. It is one war of the global south, of the BRICS countries against the West, led by China and Russia and Iran. Everything else is a puppet or a satellite of these three nations. So, about Russian exports or shadow fleet, for example, Sweden boarded and took control of Russia's shadow fleet tanker Kharg in the Baltic Sea. And there's videos about it. I'm gonna watch the whole damn thing because I really enjoy it so much. I think this should happen to every Russian shadow fleet ship that dares go through the Danish Strait to the Baltic Sea, through the Finnish Gulf. Take it all, don't give it back. That's the Swedish Special Forces boarding, literally climbing onto the ship. Look at, they also landed a chopper. So one squadron with boat, one squadron with a chopper. And they took control of that ship. We don't know what they're gonna do with it. I hope they will never give it back. Here is a video from the squadron from the boat, closing in on the Shadow Fleet ship, which was actually sailing stateless and insuranceless, which is super illegal. Climbing onto it, awesome. I love this kind of operations. They're very much Call of Duty. Brings me back to my childhood when I didn't know nothing about war, but I played missions like that. It's a very robust and simplified way, but it takes me back. Yeah, seeing this. Everything done extremely professionally. Swedish Special Forces know what they're doing here, definitely. Yesterday was International Women's Day, and by the mistake of the Kremlin's media, they accidentally released the wrong version of Putin wishing, happy health and Women's Day to women of the world. They don't never release that kind of stuff. Putin made a lot of mistakes here, and I just want to watch it with you, because we don't see Putin like that usually. Health and well-being to you, or your loved ones. Happy holidays. Happy Women's Day. Let me say it again, because it's scratched. Yeah, it's scratched. And he's really struggling with the throat. I talk too much. Putin finally comes out with the truth. He does talk too much. Talks way too much. But look at it. They released this by accident. Dear women are, but I mean, this is such, I think somebody will fly out of the window because they released 30 seconds of Putin coughing by accident. Somebody will fly. This next clip comes to us from Donetsk airport, the legendary Donetsk airport that has already been bombed to pulp 10 years ago, but Russians were using it as a launching ground for their Gerbera and Shahed drones, well, more Gerbera drones. And Ukrainians found out about that, so they used Storm Shadow / Scalp missiles. We don't see usage of these missiles much because there's so few in quantity of them, but they used it this time because this was a high value target, and you can see the result right here. I love the quality of the drone that is shooting it, the recon drone Ukrainians are using, very high above. And still the quality is superb. Usually we see this grainy, low quality, high hit videos, but this is beautiful. It wasn't the only target, by the way. The destruction of ammunition depot located on the territory of Toshmash, plant near Donetsk airport, was reported on 8th of March. So yeah, Donetsk airport was hit and ammunition depot also hit very close to the Donetsk airport. These two big targets destroyed. And I will end today's video with, of course, Ukrainian strikes against Russian oil pumping station in the Krasnodar region. Check it out, quite close to the Ukrainian border. It is Armavir pumping station responsible for oil being transported across the Kerch Strait, Kerch Bridge to the Crimean Peninsula and southern Ukraine. If this pumping station does not work, southern occupied Ukraine and Crimea will not get oil products. So it's a very important location. This is what it looks like from satellite. NASA fire map recorded a lot of heat sources there. Here we can even hear the drones. And boom, freedom exported. Oil will no longer be pumped from that specific Armavir pumping station. Taken out, knocked out cold. Wonderful job. This was it, my friends, from Monday. I will be back for you every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And next Wednesday I'll keep you posted about every new photo, video, piece of information that comes out in the next 2 days. If you like my channel, buy me a coffee, link is in the description below. Subscribe to the channel, and until next time, Slava Ukraini, and bye bye.